Hey guys, Jim Skelton here once again with the 5-Minute Watch Review. Right now we're going to jump into some features and benefits and details of some of our favorite watches. Welcome into what might be the most out there video that you're going to be seeing on my channel for some time. What we're looking at here is the Delta T Watch NBS. And then the further designations for this particular model are Mark I CBG. Yeah, I know that's a big mouthful, but there's a lot to talk about here, so this is going to be a spotlight presentation because I can't jam all this into only 5 minutes. I want to preface this by letting you guys know I really wasn't sure what to expect here. I had come across these watches on Instagram as the company was posting. Somebody had reposted it because it was so wild and funky, and I started following them, and I went, you know what? I have to see this thing for myself. So I reached out to the owner of the company, and he was kind enough to send this watch out to me. His name is Hiro Cheng. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I wanted to review the watch because I thought it was so ludicrous and so over the top that it bordered on silly. And I really kind of wanted to just have a fun review and talk about how utterly ridiculous this watch is. The problem is, the watch proved me wrong when it arrived, and I'm not, maybe I'm wrong often, but I'm not one to admit often how wrong I am. I was wrong about this watch. Now, first things first, it is a polarizing design. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it just based on how it looks, and that's fine. But when you take that away out of the equation, and you look at the construction of this watch, it is undeniable how high quality this thing really is. I mean, it's insane. It's built like a tank. And we may say that a lot. We may throw that term around a lot. But it really is. I mean, I've never seen a watch built to this degree, especially for the price that they're offering these at. So let's start with the basics. First things first, it is a 49 millimeter case. Now, for a lot of you out there, there are a lot of brands that offer really big, oversized watches, and you're used to wearing big watches. I got out of that habit about 5 years ago. So when I saw the pictures of this, and now I realize that this watch is always pictured on a very small Asian man's wrist. I saw the lugs hanging about that far on each side off of the wrist. That's why I thought it was so ridiculous. Truth be told, while it is big, it's not as big and dramatic as it seems in their pictures, and you'll see that when I put this on the wrist. It is big, I'm not going to lie, and it's heavy because it's solid aluminum bronze, so it's a very, very heavy watch. But there are a lot of you out there that are used to wearing 49, 50, 52, 55 millimeter watches that won't feel that this is too oversized. Now keep in mind, lug to lug, it's 66 millimeters, and they don't taper downward very, very sharply. So if you've got a small wrist or you have a very, very round, bony wrist, you're going to see some gaps in between your wrist and those lugs. If you have a large wrist or you have a very flat wrist, it's going to do you a little bit better. There are only 300 of these being made for the world, period. That's it. So no matter what, you're getting an exclusive watch, and I always kind of like that. Inside is the Citizen Miyota 8N24. So you got a 21 jewel automatic running at 21.6. Good movement, not amazing movement. For the price that they charge, this is the one and only thing I would change. Obviously, you do get a nice look into that movement, and it's not a bad looking movement. However, I would have liked a movement that would hack. And obviously, you see right there, we pull the crown, it does not hack. Is that a big deal or a deal breaker for many people? Probably not. Most of us don't care about atomic clock accuracy and hacking movements where we can start it at the exact second it passes go on the atomic clock. For most people, you don't even have a watch winder or enough watch winders for your automatics as it is, so every time you reach for your watch, it's not running. So it doesn't matter how accurate it is down to the second, because you're just going to be restarting it anyway. So what you've got here is a combination finish of satin finished areas and matte bead blasted areas, which I find to be pretty cool on the bronze. And they do it on their stainless steel and their DLC finishes. Looks really, really good. These three massive screws that you see in the bezel are functional. They do hold the case together from the bezel down to the case back. This is the real deal. There's nothing fake about that. The third screw actually goes down here in between the strap and the case. So they're there obviously for design aesthetics, but they are there to hold the case together. Now, realize that they're doing this and achieving 1,000 meters of water resistance. That's pretty damn cool. It really is. You've got a sapphire crystal, you've got an automatic helium escape valve, and included in the packaging, they're giving you an extra strap and all the tools you need to change out everything on this watch. Now, the one thing people have been asking me about besides how it fits on the wrist is how good the Lume is, because we see there are some massive hour markers on here. Let's do this. Let's lay the watch down. We'll break out my handy dandy black light as I tend to do, and let's see if we can get this bad boy charged up and see what we can see when the lights go out. I'm going to tell you right now, it's got a little bit of patina on the bronze because I couldn't help but wear it. And when I wore it, that's when my idea of this watch truly changed. I've actually been enjoying the living hell out of this thing. All right, let's get rid of the black light. Hang that back up. And let's see what happens when the lights go out. Oh, yes. Now, this is not Super Luminova. I'm going to discuss that with you in just one moment. But you are getting equal performance to Super Luminova. So we've got about, what, 15 seconds worth of charge from a black light. You notice that the hands are brighter. The hour markers are the second brightest. And these large areas are the dimmest of them, because they're not quite as thick as the other applications. But it really does stand out when you're in low light and zero light conditions. I wore this to the movies last week and was amazed at how long it stayed lit. The Lume is called Super Light. Super Light is a Japanese compound that is pretty much the Japanese equivalent to Super Luminova. Really, if you're looking into any good watches, you're looking at Super Luminova, you're looking at Nemoto, and you're looking at Super Light. So they did a good job on that. The dial work, nice and clean. You've got a nice matte black dial here on this particular example with the three cutouts to allow you to see into the movement. Mirror polished hands. You've got the Lume in the hands obviously as well. See if we can get it to focus here. Beautiful finishing throughout. You've got a very industrial look going throughout the entire watch. Now let's talk about the strap. You have a rather unique keeper that's actually bolted into the strap and a very industrial designed bronze buckle. Really well crafted, nicely machined, great design. And you're going to get tools that allow you to change all of this. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to grab the packaging right now and kind of show that to you. Da-da, da-da, da-da. Yes, it's a big dive box. And as we open up the dive box, you're going to see all the goodies inside. First off, you get this aluminum plate, which is your kind of certification for this watch. This one is looks like number 2 out of 300. Very nicely done there. Here is the secondary strap that comes with it. The other one was a really strong marine canvas strap. This is a nice genuine leather, very, very thick. These are just about 5 millimeters in thickness. Now you'll notice there's no buckle on here and no keeper, because you're going to transfer those from the other strap. How do you do that? Well, they are kind enough to give you all sorts of tools. And I got to tell you, these are really, really nicely made tools. There is nothing cheap about this watch or its presentation. These are very, very well made tools. So let's get that out of the way. So that's going to be the whole presentation. You'll have your watch in here, the extra strap, all the tools, and your numbered plaque. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly throw this on the wrist, and we're going to take a look at it as it sits, and then I'm going to switch the strap out for you and let you see the different personalities that come out of this watch. Now get ready, because as I mentioned, it is a big watch. It's just not quite as shocking as their Instagram and website pictures. So yeah, no matter how you slice it, 49 millimeters is always going to be huge. But notice, the lug comes right to the end of my wrist. I have a 7.5-inch wrist on my right arm. That's where I wear my watches because I write with my left hand. My left wrist is about a 1/4 inch smaller. So even if you've got about a 7.25-inch wrist, you can wear this watch. Now it is going to be heavy. It is going to be very tall. That's 20 millimeters in height right there. There's a lot to contend with, but I find it pretty easy to wear. Before I switch out the strap, I do want to read to you very quickly, I typed it up over here, a little quote from Hero as to what the design was all about. He says, this was based on a nuclear fusion reactor. So that's what inspired the design. The structure is exceptionally robust and contains many industrial characteristics. Each of these meticulous details represents the solid construction of the nuclear fusion reactor. The cohesive tri-sectional design of the watch with exposed mechanical elements has a bold and futuristic appearance. Overall, the aesthetic of the dial is modeled on the nuclear fusion reactor's core, as well as being elegant. The NBS also symbolizes the dream of securing a clean and sustainable energy for future generations. So that's the basic idea. People kept wondering, why is it so crazy looking? Well, there you go. So that's based off of a fusion reactor. How cool is that? All right, I'm going to stop it right here. I'm going to switch out the straps and be right back to you. Very quickly, you'll see here all of the components and what you're going to go through to remove that. These are double-headed screws, so even though you have the tools in order to remove the screws, you're going to have to use something that's very, very tiny to push through the lug to push out the rod section of the screw. I happen to use a little thumbtack and just push through on the other side. Now, let's see how it looks on the tan strap. And there you have it, a little bit of a change of personality when you go from having this gray and yellow nylon strap over to the very light tan strap that's on there. Now I did not change out these two elements here just because, oh man, it's a lot of work because you do have to use two tools. You're gonna have to be on each side and holding one screw in place while you turn the other one. You don't have to do that for the lugs, but you will have to do that for the buckle and for the keeper that's on there. So there you go, guys. There is your look. This NBS, I gotta tell you, it has changed my opinion, but you do have to experience it in person. And unfortunately, at the price that they charge and being sold only online, that could be a little bit difficult for you. Realize this is a $1,400 watch, but I have seen them sold through at least one of their dealers online for $950 in the bronze. I think it goes down by a couple of dollars if you choose a steel instead of a bronze, but regardless, those are the prices that we're looking at. You're paying for exclusivity, 300 pieces made. You're paying for extreme construction that's built into it. So, in my opinion, at the $950, yeah, I would say this is worth it just because of all that you're getting. Don't expect to have the most world-class movement. It's not a Swiss automatic, and it's not even a higher-end Japanese Miyota automatic, but it's still a good, reliable movement that you should really never experience any problems with. Upkeep it every few years like you're supposed to with any automatic, and you'll probably see a lifetime and beyond of use. So yes, when you die and this is given to somebody else, they'll probably experience very close to a lifetime of use out of that movement as well. There we have it, sweet and simple. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please do subscribe. That way you'll get notified of all of our future uploads.